All right, we're live.
Great.
All
All right.
right.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the retake of the Sweet Talk, episode 1.2. Uh, I'm Brian Costello, and my awesome co-host Kim Bettina. And Kim, why don't you start off by telling everybody a little about who you are and what you do, and we'll get to that.
All right. So I'm Kim Bettina. I am a Google certified trainer and I am a Google certified educator. I'm also part of the Google Classroom Expert team. I help out in the Google for Education forum. I'm a top contributor there. So between Brian and I, we have a lot of knowledge and experience using G Suite for Education, and we're both happy to be here helping out users, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that we can. So that's a little bit about me.
I'm Brian Costello. I'm a Google certified trainer.
While Brian works out his audio issues, I'm going to talk about some updates in Google Classroom that came out recently. So a big popular update that came out in Google Classroom probably a week or two ago was anyone who has a personal Google account can join Google Classroom. And this is a huge advantage for educators who are not part of a Google domain or G Suite for Education domain. So what this does, it allows people that are homeschoolers, consultants, tutors, anyone who can really use Google Classroom as an educational environment definitely can benefit from this feature. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you how you can use your personal Google account to join a Google Classroom. Right now, a personal Google account user can only join a classroom. They cannot create classes. So this is a feature that hopefully will be included sometime in the future. But for right now, a user with a personal Google account can only join Google Classroom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. And what I'm going to do is I am going to go into this account here. This is the Sweet Talk Show account. And you can see right now that you can see right here that this is a personal Google account, okay, because it shows at gmail.com. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this account and I'm going to join a Google Classroom from my trainer domain. So I'm going to hit the plus sign and I'm going to join my class. And I hit join. And at this point, this user, the talk show at gmail.com, will be added in as a student into the Sweet Talk classroom. And you can see here that the person, the Sweet Talk, is in the Google Classroom environment here. Okay, so that's a demonstration on using a personal Google account and joining a classroom that is already in existence on a G Suite for Education domain. One thing that you do have to pay attention to, or you may have to notify, is your Google administrator. This person must enable the domain, whitelist the setting in the admin console so that you can allow whitelisting and class settings. And this can be found in this part here. What I'll do is I'll take this link here and I will put it into some show notes for you. I will share my screen so you can see the Help Center forum. So it would be this URL address here, and this will show you how to whitelist a domain for personal use and manage the classroom settings in the domain for your personal Google account. All right. So are we good to go, Brian? All right, so while we're waiting for Brian to work out his microphone still, what I'm going to do here is I will show you my blog post about how to set up the admin console for personal Google accounts. So let me share my screen again. And if you go to the techlady-km.blogspot.com, my blog will show up, and you can search for this blog post here, personal Google accounts and Google Classroom together. And on this blog post, it goes over how a Google admin can set up the correct settings on the domain so that personal Google accounts could access it. So, you know, this is a quick little reference about how the admin can set that up in your domain. All right. Brian, are we back? All right, let's see what Brian's got to say now, if he fixed his audio issues. No? All right. So let's see. He's
okay.
coming in.
So
Oh,
we're gonna
that's
try.
so much better.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you guys a view of what I'm working on. I'm gonna do this in a very abstract manner. This ancient computer here is what I'm working on. It works really well for most tasks, but probably can't handle live streaming. Shout out to my friend Andy Doby who helped me re-image this really old computer that didn't work, and it does at least work. My computer broke yesterday, and I was told today it's done for. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I can't share my iPad screen with you, but I can show you the screen, very old school style, when we talk about Team Drive. So
So why
how
don't you
much
talk
you
about
got
Team
absolutely
Drive? Because I
you got
went
absolutely
over.
nothing, right?
Well, you can introduce yourself again, because that kind of was very like
That was the last thing
robotic,
you got.
and
Well,
we didn't hear anything. So
all right, let's shoot for it then. So hi, my name is Brian Costello. I'm a robot. I am a Google certified trainer and innovator. And I work at in Egg Harbor Township as a 7th and 8th grade technology integration specialist. And I do a lot of work with both the staff and my own students with G Suite and the tools for Google. So that's where I've been applying a lot of my work lately. And I was saying before, really excited to share these things with you and see if we can find ways to help you apply them, in a meaningful way. So G Suite update's probably about 2 months old. Maybe if you've had it for a while, if you're an early adopter, you've had it for even longer. Team drives. So team drives are an interesting thing because you can actually create documents as a group. So before, if you're using your traditional Google Drive, you would create a document, you'd share it out with everybody else that you wanted to work with and collaborate with. Unfortunately, if you were to say leave the school district, or you were to leave the group, for some reason, all the documents you created go with you, or you lose all of them altogether, depending on how the domain gets managed. If they turn off access to your account, then you lose everything, and all the people on the team no longer have access to that information. So the great thing about team drives is no matter who leaves this group, no matter how the group may change, the information that you've created and collaborated upon stays in the drive. So some really another cool thing is you can work across domains. Like Kim was mentioning whitelisting domains. If your domain is whitelisted with another district or another domain, you can collaborate with partners from different school districts on projects together. So really cool things there. I'm going to show you, not quite in the way I had intended, but I'm going to show you a look at what team drives can look like. So it looks a little different, your team drive, than your traditional. Can you guys see that the best I can? Is that coming up all right? Can you see that?
Yeah,
Kim?
that's fine.
All right. So team drives. Let's see if I can get this to actually do anything. It's really slow right now. There we go. So here's my team drive. As you see, it looks a little bit different. It has a different feel to it. And it'll mention anytime you add members to the team, they are now owners of whatever you put together. So, this is a good one for me. When I'm trying to build up a student group of technologically capable helpers around the school. So our tech squad. And the goal here is that if I have documents that we create in this folder, that those members will have access to them, or whether they're students, teachers, or anybody else. And as those students leave the school, they can be removed as members from the group without losing anything that was created within the group. So that's one use for it. There are like I said, many others. There's another example for my personal account is a team drive that was created for technology coaches and technology integration teachers. So things that we can work together with. And so the files are owned by that domain, but they're owned by that whole group within that domain. So anybody who creates something, it stays here. So if I were to leave this group, anything I created within it stays with the group. So when I think of this, I think of things that are really valuable for is obviously collaborating across school districts in situations like this. I think of how we can, like this particular one here is a perfect example. If you have sports teams or student council or clubs for school or group projects that you want to have everybody have access to and be a part of that, part owner of the team, you can now create that team, have the members come and go, and keep all the information there. And a new feature, this is a brand new feature, it's as of today, is that you can actually upload files from a team drive into your classroom space. So this would be what it looks like. So traditional upload in the classroom would involve uploading a document, something recent, my drive. You can see now the new piece is team drives here, along with the start. So if you were to click on that team drives, this is just a screenshot, but if you were to click on that team drives, it would go into the team drive that you have, and you'll be able to pull documents from there to upload into Google Classroom. So pretty cool add-on, something really useful, especially when we're talking about how we can use this with collaborative teams. Just a great way to start sharing more and more of what it is that you what it is you want to do with your team. So team drive, a lot of cool things you can do with it. Great way to collaborate and really share a lot more with one another, both inside and outside the district.
All right, that sounds good. I actually, we had an instance last week where we had a person leave our district, and he created a few documents that were accessible for many people, and they needed to be updated, and they weren't part of Team Drive at that point because they were created last year. So as the Google administrator in my district, I had to log into his, reset his password, log into the person's account, update the forms, and then I actually created a Team Drive and threw those documents and files into the Team Drive and shared the Team Drive with the other people that needed access to it. So now all the people are the owner of the files, and they can access them, without any issues. So it does help any, if you have a changeover in different, personnel, it helps with all that. If people get transferred into a different department, it helps with that. I mean, I really like it. And you can set up different permissions for people when you add them into the team. You can have them to have full access, edit rights, view rights. So, I mean, there's the sharing permissions are still there, very similar to a Google document too. And what I found out also, I don't know if you know this, Brian, was if you're not the owner of the document, you can't move it into a Team Drive folder. The owner has to move it into the Team Drive folder, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, the way around that would just be to make a copy of it and then move that into the Team Drive. But yeah, you can't, because then you're changing ownership rights, which you couldn't do without being the owner.
right.
So yeah, that makes sense. I haven't tested that out, but it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, they cover their basis,
Absolutely. Oh yeah, you got to make sure that your files are in a good place. And one thing I will say is, if you're sharing a file in Team Drive, be aware that as soon as you put it in there, it becomes the property of everybody everybody who's part of the team. So one of the things I've done with some of the team members when I go to share some things in Team Drive, I learned this after the first one I dropped in there, learning about it, testing it out, I just make a copy of it and then I put it in there. So the team can work on whatever, and I still retain my copy of my individual one that I wanted from the beginning. It doesn't update. They don't simultaneously update, obviously, but just in case you wanted to have that individual document still, you still have it, and at the same time you have the same document getting worked on by a team collaboratively.
Yeah, and that's actually a good idea. A lot of people in my school district at my school were asking me, could I have a copy of the file in Team Drive and in my folder? And the answer is no, you can't. You have to make a copy of the file and keep a copy of it in your drive, independent from the file that's in your Team Drive. So that's an important point to make. So
yeah, they're separate. They'd be separate files updating separately as they're worked on. So if you put in the Team Drive, it's a totally different piece. And if once you put it in there, it's no longer in your personal files.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, you have to be aware of what you're allowed to do and what you can do with the files. So yeah, no, those are all good points. So I'm glad that we had that discussion tonight.
Yeah. So yeah, Team Drive's personal Google Classroom, couple of cool things that have been updated, changed. So now point the portion of the end of the show. This month we are choosing it for you. I'm hoping in the next month we'll get some submissions from people who are interested in something specific that would like us to talk about. So we're going to talk about our Google app of the month, which is Google Forms. I love Google Forms for just so many different things. There's great ways to differentiate with them. You can use them for creating games. You can use them for collecting information. You can use them for assessment. You can use them for both formative and summative assessment. Using them for formative assessments was one of my favorite things. I just had kids' names, and I had a skill, and I just walked around I had my iPad there or my phone while we were working on things, and I just check off if they had accomplished the skill. And then at the end of the period of the day, I just saved that, and it would populate out to the spreadsheet. It was just a great way to keep track of that formative assessment without having to walk around with a clipboard and check off the little checks and keep track of a million little check marks on paper. So totally great function. And one of the things I like the most, there's two things I really like, and Kim, I'm gonna let you talk about them a little bit too, is data validation with forms. And also, I think I might let you do the screen share on this and show it off, because yours probably looks a little better than mine. Data validation, and also the opportunity to choose and create sections where you can go to sections based on answers. So I'm gonna let you take it over, and you can actually show it, because I'm not in a good position to show these things today.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Hey, we can overcome any technical difficulties. We had our fair share.
Technology is all about continuing to try and finding ways to make it work. So
always have a plan B.
C, D, E.
Yeah.
You know, there's always a way to make it work.
All right, so let me share my screen. And let's see, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so right now I have a form, and what I want to do is I want to show you how to use data validation. So I have a question. So what you have to do is you have to create a question. So what I tell teachers to do is you can always add a password to the Google form. So if it's a quiz and you want to make sure that the quiz isn't accessible for different students in different classes, you can put a password for each class, and the students who know the password could obviously take the quiz. So you create a short answer question, and you create it for, enter the password. And then down here, you click on the more options menu, and you go to data validation. And this is going to allow you to select what kind of text that you're checking for. So you can select a number, text, length, or regular expression. So I'm going to click regular expression, and you can have it contain, doesn't contain, match, or doesn't match. So really, I want it to equal or contain. So I'm going to select that. And this is going to be the pattern of the characters I want the password to be. So it has to be case sensitive if that's what you want. So I'm going to put in here, hello. And over here, I'm going to enter in the error message. So if somebody types in the incorrect password, I can have a customized error message. So I could just say, try again. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to view the form. And this is what a student would see. So they would get the question, enter the password. And if they type the incorrect password, you can see the customized error message here, and they can't go to the next section of the form. So they actually have to type in the correct password. So I'm going to type in hello with a capital H, and now I can click next, and it takes me to my next section or the start of the quiz. And this is what Brian was talking about here. This is a section. So data validation can be used in all sorts of questions. If you're looking for specific text, go into the data validation option, and you can definitely use that to its advantage and benefit you. Also with sections, you can create sections in your forms so that when students click on a specific answer, it'll jump to a different section of the form. So let me see what I can do here with that. So let me turn off data validation. And okay, so I wasn't prepared for this part, Brian. This was your part. So
Yeah, sorry about that.
what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep enter a password. And once they enter the password, it's going to go to section 2, and it's going to ask them to type in their name. And I'm going to enter another question. I don't know. What is your favorite color? And I can have the options here. All right. And what we can do here at this point is I can have it jump to a different section according to what they selected here. That's what you're talking about, right, Brian?
Yeah, so based on what you select, you can go to the section you see right there where it says show, and it says description, or it says go to section based on answer.
Right, so I can click on that,
yep.
And then it will actually go to the next section. Or I can have it go to submit the form.
You can go to the end, yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the great things about this is, as you can see, you can jump to different sections, and with the ability to put links and videos and images into your Google form, you can actually, so if you have students who are struggling with something and aren't getting the correct answer on a check-in, all of a sudden you can take them back to something that would reinforce the thing that they were learning, a video that might refresh their memory on a topic. So that each section would allow you to, and if you have kids that don't need that because they're understanding the content, you just skip sections. So like in this case, it'd be section 3. You wouldn't need to do that if you got the answer correct. We all know the correct answer to this question. What is your favorite color, right?
Right, blue.
Oh no, it's green. Come on.
All right, so I mean, that's how you can differentiate. So like you could use this for digital storytelling. If you want your students to create a story or and come up with a creative ending to their story, they can pick an ending based on your suggestions, or they can come up with their own form and come up with their own stories and have you go through the story so they can bounce on different sections of the form. So it does give a lot of options and differentiation for students. And to tell you the truth, I see a lot of students doing this in the 8th grade, and they do like it. It is engaging, and they do like it. One teacher in my school uses it like a scavenger hunt. So I mean, and the kids are very engaged, and they do enjoy it. So I have to say that it does work. It gives a different form of the activity. So it does.
And if you're a digital breakout person, if you're interested in learning how to make those, this is the basic of it. You need to know how to make a form, and you need to know the data validation. Like those are your 2 first pieces. If you don't have the form and the data validation, it's hard to make the rest. So you can see here, it's jumping to different sections based on the answers that you put in. Obviously, if we have, an assessment or any kind of check-in where students are trying to be engaged and you're trying to figure out what they know and help them remember things they don't know, then it will jump to those sections that are needed for the student. It can get as simple as 1 or 2 sections, or you can make it as complex as you would like. You can have as many sections as you would like. You're unlimited in that way.
Yeah. So I mean, that's basically our app for the week, for the month.
Yeah.
Forms. So we wanted to try to show you a different perspective of forms and use the different options and try to use it in a different way rather than just multiple choice and short answer and select from a drop down. So we thought that would have been helpful for teachers and students to use.
Absolutely. So we're hoping to hear from people for next month. If there's something specific people want to hear about, want to learn about, that they're looking for, we'll definitely highlight something new for the next show. In the meantime, we'll be looking for those updates. We can update you on new things that are coming out with G Suite, and we hope everybody enjoyed. Please be sure to follow us. You get the announcements for the next show. Follow our YouTube channel, and yeah, I hope this was helpful for people. And if it wasn't, next time it will be even better. So thanks for checking in. Thanks for chopping for the Sweet Talk. And
yeah,
I'm Brian, and this is Kim. And thanks again. I hope you have a wonderful week, wonderful month, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. See you. Bye.
Right. Take care.
Bye.